This video is going to cover Chapter 4, Assignment 6. With this problem, we had to establish this distance here, and once we got it cleared up that it was 6 inches, we were able to move ahead and plug numbers in. And as far as that's concerned, that's pretty straightforward. Using a calculator and getting the sixteenths and all that good stuff, getting your units right. So once we had that distance there, we were able to just proceed. I went ahead and just labeled R here just so that it was just something to know, that small r is radius. I think Bill had told me that in one of the tutor sessions, and he's a pretty smart guy. So anyhow, he had been talking about that, and thought it was a good point because we had R and R, so I didn't realize that small r was actually radius, so I learned that from him, so that was cool. And going on here with R, we got R equals little r plus distance to edge of pipe, right? So there we go. And we could solve it with these equations, but one of the things that Mike and Rocky were talking about is just looking at these problems and finding the triangles in them. So that was pretty big for me to kind of hear that and see it in motion here. I know they've been talking about it, but then to in a problem like this, you really can see how it's pretty helpful to double check the measurements on these formulas. So one of the things he talked about was just dividing this particular one into a 22.5, say, and what that does, once you have your R, drawing your line, 22.5, that gives you your edge of your C measurement. Alright, and then from the center line to there, you have C's, and it just so happens that when we extend this, well, I don't know if it just so happens, but anyways, I'm sure they planned this all out. So anyhow, this happens to be a 45-degree triangle, right? And so A equals O, or whatever way you want to call it. And so we know that this and this are equal. And then we can keep extending these lines out and find that this is one big triangle, including this little guy right here. Bring that down. And so from that's very helpful. And then he said this was a pretty crucial one, which you could see makes sense because that's the part where it does not quite come down to the center line. And in the book they have two sets of these problems. One is where the pipes are run right in line with the center line of the pipe and they come up and over. And then you got this guy here where they're not. They're under over. So anyhow, so that gives us these three triangles here, and then we could do the same thing on this side here. Get our 22.5. It'll go that way, and that gives us our C edge here, and then bringing that down, we extend down. We have our other portion of our triangle. This ended up being 7/16 inches, and this would be 10.5 inches. So when we multiplied this by 1.414, and then go ahead and we extend this down, and this one goes beyond the center line, so 6 inches on this side. So let's see. There's your other triangle, or large one I should say, but they're saying that these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this one right here, 6, those were all really important. You can see why as we go through this problem, help you to find where the pipe goes. So oh, and then also I want to point out, there's the A that dimension that I missed out on, that chapter 4 sheet that I handed out, so I didn't put that on that sheet. I left that out accidentally. So anyhow, moving on here. So you could see that when we do the math, just using those constants, you know, 1.414 and 707, we can go ahead and double check our answers here. So what we do is, for this one, this ended up being 10.5, right, on these top guys, right? Just go 10.5. And we already have our T1 measurement from earlier. And then this was 4.25 down here. And if you add all those up, well, if you add them all up, obviously that's not what you need, but you can take this measurement here, 18 plus the 7 and 7/16 inches, so that's like 25 and 7/16 inches, and you get this dimension here, this whole, so that would be all of this right here, from this center line all the way up to here is 25 and 7/17, or 7/16, excuse me, making up stuff. And so you multiply that by 1.414 and you'll get this entire stretch right here. Okay, and then you can go ahead and subtract out the stuff you don't need, right? And then you'll end up with T1. So, and you could do the same thing with this side here. You go ahead and got your 18 inches, get your T, or go from here to here, and then you got to figure that you got an extra 6 inches here, so you're going to add that 6 inches to that. So it's going to be, so we said this one was 25 and 7/16, so this would be 31 and 7/16 right here. And so multiply that by 1.414, take that number, subtract out your 10.5 for this guy right here, right? Oh, I already had it right in there. Anyhow, and then you got your part that extends below your center line, so you gotta actually add that, right? And from there you'll get your T2 dimension, right? So that's that. I'm just trying to keep this short and simple, not drag it out, because there's a lot to it, but it's pretty cut and dry if you can just envision these triangles and remember the stuff you guys already know. You know the 1.414, you know the 0.707, and so just use that stuff like you know how to do, and you know the pipes are going here and here, so you got to figure in that length there, right? And for this guy here, we got to figure that. So it's stuff you already know how to do. It's just, you know, it's in a different format. So I know you can do it. Just take a look, take some time and look at that. If you got any questions, email me or even call me. I gave you my number, so I'd be happy to explain it to you if I can help you out. I'm glad to do that for you. And let me know if there's anything else I could add to these videos to help you out as far as learning goes and stuff, or whatever. Just anything that I'm not doing, let me know so I can make it better for you guys, and better for me to get stuff out there that's actually useful. So, all right, thanks for watching.